Hi everyone, this is Helen Doughty, research specialist at the Eastern Shore AREC, and my talk will be discussing Colorado potato beetle updates in potatoes. So to get started, what's been happening in your fields? So based on 2020 observations, I went around a lot to different fields last year because of wireworm click beetle traps that we had, and I was able to observe that a lot of Colorado potato beetle adults were emerging very early in the season and starting to feed, especially on the edges of certain fields. This is not new. We know this has been happening for a couple of years, but typically it's later in the season. And this year we had a very cold spring, which probably delayed planting a little bit, but it's still not typical for them to be showing up that early. So the main question that I always get is what can we apply to try to control these emerging Colorado potato beetles? And so we had put together a table with all the labeled foliar insecticide that are available currently in the market. And this is a listing of those as you can see here. This does not include neonicotinoids, since all of you use neonics at planting to control potato beetles. So let's spend a little bit more time taking a look at this table. The insecticides are arranged by group, as you can see on the left-hand side column. Each group has a different number and indicates a class of insecticide. This is based on the IRAC classification that allows to manage insecticide resistance. The way you can tell which group an insecticide is in is by taking a look at the label, and typically it's located at the top right-hand side of the label next to the active ingredient portion. The main take-home message from this looking at the groups is that we need to rotate by group. So let's say, for example, we have 4 insecticide here in group 28. If you pick one of them, you obviously do not want to go back with 28 again, and you want to make sure that you rotate to another group number. And we need to stay away from group A, which is all the neonicotinoids such as platinum and admire, which are used at planting, and therefore you do not want to go back with a foliar application of those. The same information is currently located as a VCE publication on the Virginia Cooperative Extension website with the link right here. And this is a Colorado potato beetle foliar insecticide menu for potato growers, which classifies the insecticides that you can use for foliar application at any time or after at planting, insecticide application classified based by group. So here are all the different types of insecticides that are available for you, their rate and their active ingredient. So out of all these different types of insecticides that are efficacious against Colorado potato beetles, the ones that we've been using most often have been Coragen and Besiege. They both have chlorantraniliprole, which is part of the diamide class of insecticides. Besiege actually has lambdacide with the chlorantraniliprole, but that has no effect on Colorado potato beetles. These have been excellent in controlling beetles in the past, and still we have good results at the station in our trials. However, it seems like in the last couple of years there may have been something going on with the diamides. This year we had 40% adult survival following a Besiege application in commercial growers' fields on the Eastern Shore. And that's been concerning. As a result, we have conducted a lot of different bioassays, and those have showed that there may be a possibility of beginning of resistance to chlorantraniliprole, one of the diamides. I conducted at bioassays with beetles that were collected from the field and put them on foliage treated with collagen, and there was indeed, with the besieged, some survivability. However, when I took the eggs and hatched them into larvae and put besiege for the larvae, there seemed to be complete mortality. However, these trials or bioassays are inconclusive due to the fact that they've only been conducted once. So we need to have continued close monitoring, and we need to continue rotation with other insecticide, or maybe trying out some other insecticide to control the beetle. So there are a lot of different other types of insecticide besides the diamides, such as Savanto, Black Hawk, Radiant, Agrumec, Torac, and also, although those are diamides, Exarel, Harventa, and Minectopro are a different active ingredient, and hopefully there is no cross resistance yet, if there is even any resistance to the diamide. And in 2020, we tested all of these different types of foliar insecticides: Harventa, Savanto Prime, Savanto HL plus dynamic as a surfactant, Torac with a PBO, Agrumec, Besiege, Exarel, Coragen, Black Hawk, and Minectopro. And as you can see, the number of small larvae at 7 days after treatment was much more reduced for all of them compared to the untreated control. And by 14 days after treatment, there were no large larvae in any of the treatments in comparison to the untreated control. So all of them are fairly efficacious, doing very well in controlling potato beetles. So what's the take-home message? We believe that you may want to resist foliar applications on emerging adult beetles post at planting applications and target the larvae instead. Do not wait and spray those larvae at 10 to 20% egg hatch, and of course keep rotating insecticides even in other crops. Thank you for listening, and should you need or want to look into more information concerning the observations and trials that we have conducted this year, you can go on to the virtual field day for the Eastern Shore Erect on YouTube and listen to the talk on Colorado potato beetle. Are we experiencing resistance? Thank you.